creating a news agenda that reflects an unbiased view of Asian current affairs without relying on external news sources. Asia Vision, Asian news through Asian eyes. For over 30 years, we have been getting stronger and faster. This year alone, we have added 4 new members, increasing our total to 30 members, contributing and exchanging news material every day. But our influence is just not limited to the region. We have been expanding our network across the globe. In the Middle East and Northern Africa, we have Sister Union, Arab States Broadcasting Union, sharing news with us daily. In Europe, we exchange news with over 60 different European broadcasters, and in America, CNN receives news materials from AVN and broadcasts them all over the world. Asian news is changing faster and having more of an impact on global affairs than ever before. Through improvements in technology, journalists are able to submit and access more news stories and receive updates faster through our newly integrated internet-based platform. The new internet platform has made it easier to contribute and access current news events, and the rise of membership participation has led to a dramatic increase of items being exchanged over the last year. With the exchange of news comes the exchange of ideas. Members can also benefit from AVN journalist workshops and attachment schemes in our bid to create partnerships, spread knowledge, and elevate standards. So, contribute your views in global affairs and join us as we document history in the making. Asia Vision, Asian news through Asian eyes.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Nasma Abdul Mohsin and this is AVN News. Wooded hillsides, craggy ridges and wheeling birds of prey are a world away from Hong Kong's famous skyscrapers, but the city's country parks are a necessary balm for its stressed-out residents.
Out of the city and into the wild. Beyond the concrete jungle of Hong Kong are hundreds of trails, snaking through mountains and hills. It's a perfect escape from the rat race, a respite from the noisy city of 7 million. 40% of Hong Kong is protected country park, and its hikes have been voted one of the world's best by the National Geographic Society.
The country parks are an important heritage of Hong Kong, not only for our generation, but also for the generations to come. It's important that people can enjoy the convenience of the parks, so this is a valuable part of Hong Kong.
But prime land is scarce, and the city has some of the world's highest property prices. The government has proposed building on the fringes of the parks, raising fears development could encroach into Hong Kong's nature enclaves. And for many, the price of giving up these mountains for a tiny apartment is just too high.
Now there are more people hiking. There are also more who truly care about nature and the mountains. They pay attention to whether Hong Kong's natural sites are being damaged or whether there are plans to develop these areas.
A.M. Reynolds and Dai Yu hike every week and have attracted a large social media following. For them, Hong Kong's nature helps them get through the daily grind.
When you go hiking, you distance yourself from everyday troubles. Because you're making an effort to go to a place where you wouldn't usually go, and the process of reaching there may be challenging. So when you arrive, you'll start to let go of your usual stress.
As the fame of the country parks flourishes and visitors increase, there is yet hope that Hong Kong's mountains could be saved.
Growing older can be tough on the mind and the body, but some elderly women in South Africa are stepping into the boxing ring for a workout that is helping them knock out the effects of aging. Arash Arab Sadi reports.
These grannies are training for the fight of their lives.
The advice I give to other grannies like me is that they should leave the old way of telling themselves that they are old and that they are grannies, and to try their best. Just because you are a granny does not mean you need to burden yourself with that word, granny. You need to wake yourself up and show that you are a granny with life.
In a suburb of South Africa's capital, Johannesburg, these 75 to 80-year-old women fight against the aches and pains of aging while keeping their bodies fit.
They're taking care of their grandchildren, cleaning the house, some of them. So most of them we thought that boxing is the one that will also make them relax, make them think, make them young again.
It all started 5 years ago with a special aerobic exercise training program at the gym.
We're doing fitness, so our Coco, they were interested to also do fitness. They saw my gloves, and then they just tried them on. And then since from there, they never stopped.
Boxing was an immediate knockout that seemed to turn back the hands of time.
I feel young, I feel like I'm 16, but my age is 18. Yes.
The club is, of course, good exercise for members, but it's also therapeutic for 76-year-old Jermina Maluleka, who was recently diagnosed with cancer. She says boxing gives her new hope for the future.
The gym has helped me through my illness. When I started out, I had a problem with my feet. I used to have swollen feet. Since I started going to the gym, I do not have that problem anymore. I never used to have a problem with my knees, with my legs, but the gym has helped me a lot.
Grannies toning up while learning self-defense, inspiring a younger generation, trainers say, to get fit at an earlier age. Arash Arabasadi, VOA News.
Asia Vision, Asian news through Asian eyes.
Gun violence is a reality of American life, and across the country, with more than a dozen people shot to death on the first day of 2018, the shootings happen everywhere, in homes, shopping centers, on the street and in schools. There were 9 school shootings in the United States in 2017, leaving 15 people dead and 18 others wounded. Now, a new simulation program is designed to help keep teachers and students safe from a shooter. VOA's Kevin Enox reports.
So right here we have tablets going through the character selection screen. We have different types of characters. Suspect comes with rifles. Suspects can be adults or children.
It's like a million other video games you've seen, but this one is no game. It's meant to simulate what happens when a gunman enters a school.
The suspect's going to go in and start creating some chaos. The teacher will show you how the teacher can respond to that with the students by taking different actions, lining them up against the wall.
It is difficult to watch, but the programmers say this simulation can save lives.
A lot of these features allow teachers to test out things that have been tried. For example, Virginia Tech, they found that barricading the doors worked very well. So this gives different school districts the ability to try out different things, see what works for their given environment.
The goal is to give teachers, administrators, maybe even police the opportunity to virtually walk through an active shooter event on campus.
So experience builds survivability. The more experience you have, the better your chances of survival are. So this allows you to practice and have multiple experiences, know what works, what doesn't work.
Creating the simulator was difficult for everyone involved.
We sat down and listened to dispatch tapes of events, various events, and it gives you chills when you're sitting and thinking about, what's happening during those tapes and how might we better prepare law enforcement and fire departments and all these people who have to deal with this.
The shooters, children, and administrators in the game operate on artificial intelligence, which allows the programmers to test different safety strategies to see how they work. The simulation is unpleasant and jarring, but the programmers say they are doing their best to prepare teachers for the worst that might happen.
We can prevent a lot of these deaths. We can prepare people better. We can make this a safer environment if we can get this into the hands of the right people.
The program is already being used by first responders, but the Army Research Lab plans to make the school version available soon, free of charge. Kevin Enox, VOA News.
The robotics industry has made impressive advancements in 2017, and that is expected to continue as robots are becoming more sophisticated, doing more complicated tasks and spreading almost everywhere. Faiza Al-Masri has the story. Faith Lapidus narrates.
New invention, shall we?
Advancements in technology have made it possible for robots to efficiently carry out a wide variety of complicated tasks, whether at the workplace or at home. That didn't happen overnight. Humans have been working for centuries on creating robots. Last February, an exhibit at London's Science Museum traced 500 years of robotic development, showing how far we've come in this industry and how far we can still go. Visitors to a Berlin gallery got a chance to find out. The 5 Robots Named Paul exhibit in February gave visitors a chance to find out what they would look like when 5 robots with different points of view drew their portrait. Residents in Washington, D.C. have become familiar with food delivery robots, walking side by side with them on the street. The CeBIT Digital Business Fair in Hanover in March showcased a future where robots serve coffee.
You go, get it, and you get back to your work. If it's a person, he talks to people. It's good personal touch, but like it delays you from your work.
In the United Kingdom, a company developed a smart robotic pet named Miro that uses artificial intelligence to interact with humans. And in South Korea, robots roamed the country's largest airport this past summer. At the InnoRobo Robotics event in Paris, so-called cobots, collaborative robots, were lending a helping hand.
Yes.
In Bucharest, Romania, a humanoid DIY robot was unveiled last May. In Belgium, a robot like this could improve a surgeon's precision by up to 10 times. All signs were pointing to a fully robotic future in manufacturing and engineering at the World Robot Conference in Beijing. A robotic conductor stole the show at a performance by renowned tenor Andrea Bocelli in the Italian city of Pisa. The unique show at the city's historic Teatro Verdi was part of the International Robotics Festival. In Japan, as hotels are gearing up for the 2020 Olympics by recruiting new helpers to ensure the best customer experience, one hotel is introducing robots to deliver room service. The advances are exciting and happening almost everywhere. But are we ready to lose our jobs to these machines? Some people have already been replaced by robots representing the latest in artificial intelligence.
As a new piece of automation comes in, people just move to something else that only at that time humans can do.
Advances in the robotics industry will continue, as will people's excitement and concerns at the changes. For writer Faiza Al-Masri, I'm Faith Lapidus, VOA News.
Many of today's Hollywood blockbuster movies include stunning visual effects. Most of those effects used to be produced in Hollywood, but that has changed. Now one film can include visual effects produced in many different countries. Elizabeth Lee reports from Los Angeles on how the globalization of visual effects is affecting artists in Hollywood and around the world.
Tommy Williamson is passionate about filmmaking. As a former visual effects supervisor, he worked on many Hollywood blockbusters, but not anymore.
It kind of breaks my heart to have to leave the whole thing. In fact, I don't even say that I left. I said it left me.
Thanks to technology, visual effects work can be done anywhere in the world, and more Hollywood films are including work from other countries. Venkatesh Radham is Chief Executive Officer of India-based Reliance MediaWorks.
In the last 5 to 7 years is where you've seen an explosion of actually content getting processed in different parts of the world, not just India, but be it China, Taiwan, Korea, India. These are all markets that content from Hollywood is going to.
Countries such as India offer lower costs, and some are offering financial incentives for work to be done there.
I've been at 12 different visual effects companies, been on the staff of 5, all of which have gone bankrupt for one reason or another. Basically, there's only 2. The way we work and the subsidy race has driven so many of them out of business.
Dave Rand and Daniel Lay, co-founders of the Association of Digital Artists, Professionals, and Technicians, say subsidies offered by other countries are driving work out of Hollywood. He says the solution lies in the U.S. federal courts.
The United States government puts
very strong anti-subsidy laws that have been around for years that allow for domestic industries that are being injured by these international subsidies to seek relief through the trade courts.
He wants a U.S. federal court to levy a mandatory tax on the work produced outside the U.S.
It's not a progressive idea. You are actually artificially pumping up the cost. You're limiting talent availability.
Reliance MediaWorks' Venkatesh Radham says currently Hollywood can draw from an international talent pool. It's benefiting artists like Kunal Chindarkar, who works on Hollywood movies from Singapore for visual effects company Double Negative. He spoke to VOA in a Skype interview.
The people that are working with me right now in Double Negative are from all over the world. And like we have people from Australia, from UK, from France.
Radham says working with Hollywood improves the quality of work worldwide. He says the key to a visual effects company's survival is to also branch out into other areas of filmmaking. Firms also need a presence in countries where the work is done, and that includes the U.S.
You cannot survive in this marketplace without a physical presence here. So from that perspective, companies like ours will continue to create American jobs in America, rather than actually think about how much of this work is going to Canada or UK or India or China.
Radham also says the visual effects industry will continue to evolve, and those who want to stay in the business will have to continue to adapt. Elizabeth Lee for VOA News, Los Angeles.
And that's all we have for you right now. Thank you for watching. Have a very pleasant day.
Asia Vision, Asian news through Asian eyes.